of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher TUFTON, says over 145,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine are expected to arrive in the country before the start of next week. The minister, who made the announcement during today's COVID Conversations digital press briefing, explained that 45,630 doses are being donated by the government of Suriname and 100,620 were purchased through the COVAX facility.
I am happy to announce today that we now have confirmation based on other arrangements, not the amount that is being gifted through the U.S., but other arrangements to receive between now and the weekend some 145,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine, 45,630 courtesy of the government of Suriname, which we have been having discussions with that country on for some time over the past week and a half probably, involving the health officials, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And that is now a completed discussion, and I believe the team has been dispatched to that country around private arrangements, private transportation, private charter, if you will, to retrieve or to benefit from that donation and to transport that amount to Jamaica under the strict guidelines to ensure its preservation and integrity. The other amount, 100,620 doses, will be made available through our paid arrangement through COVAX, the COVAX facility. And we expect that this amount will get to Jamaica during the course of this week into the weekend.
Now, this batch of the Pfizer vaccine, he said, will facilitate the resumption of the distribution of the Pfizer vaccine on November 1.
Distribution of Pfizer on Monday, November 1st. This is Monday coming. Once we get in, it's a matter of logging, storing / distribution to the respective regional authorities, and therefore that will take a day or two. We would like to be ready Monday, November 1st to start distributions. Now, very important that the priority will be, in the first instance, to deliver the Pfizer vaccines to persons who have already gotten their first dose. So if you have not gotten a dose, you should not try to get a dose of the Pfizer vaccine at this point in time. I mean, there are others out there, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and we'd certainly encourage you to take one of those two others. But the 80,000+ persons who are waiting on second dose, who are all due, and as we had said, it is within the 12-week period, so the first dose would have still had its impact. The efficacy of the combined dosage would still be intact. You will now have your opportunity to take the second dose of the Pfizer starting Monday, November 1.
He said he anticipates the donation of vaccines from the United States sometime in November, which will be distributed to children exclusively, with hopes of the resumption of face-to-face classes in the future.
Distribution of Pfizer on Monday, November 1st. This is Monday coming. Once we get in, it's a matter of logging, storing / distribution to the respective regional authorities, and therefore that will take a day or two. We would like to be ready Monday, November 1st to start distributions. Now, very important that the priority will be, in the first instance, to deliver the Pfizer vaccines to persons who have already gotten their first dose. So if you have not gotten a dose, you should not try to get a dose of the Pfizer vaccine at this point in time. I mean, there are others out there, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and we'd certainly encourage you to take one of those two others. But the 80 plus thousand persons who are waiting on second dose, who are all due, and as we had said, it is within the 12-week period, so the first dose would have still had its impact. The efficacy of the combined dosage would still be intact. You will now have your opportunity to take the second dose of the Pfizer starting Monday, November 1.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dunstan Bryan, speaking at the press conference, announced that a validation of the COVID-19 vaccination information will be done come next month.
One of the most important things that we're going to do in November, however, is an exercise on validation of the vaccination program, of the vaccination information. Now, many persons would have come in at the front end of our vaccination program and would have given information around their names and other biostatistics relating to them as a person. And so we need to validate all of this information as we move now into an electronic environment from our manual environment, which is the manual card that you would carry around. And so there's a process that we will speak about next week, where we're going to invite persons to validate their information that is existing in our database to ensure that your name is spelled correctly, your date of birth is correct, your address is correct, and any other information that we have for you is accurate and as accurate as possible, so that when we upload this information to the electronic card, then we have the exact information that is relevant to you.
In other news tonight, in light of the United States' requirement that as of November 8, all non-immigrant, non-citizen air travelers to their country be fully vaccinated, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is reminding Jamaicans that there are several access points to get their shots. In a statement today, the ministry said these access points include the over 60 fixed health sites across the island, 17 private sector facilities, along with several vaccination sites established by the Private Sector Vaccine Initiative, the mobile units and pop-up blitzes at offices and in town centers. Noting that the decision taken by the U.S. was only a matter of time, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher TUFTON shared that the stance might be just the push Jamaicans need to get vaccinated. He further stated that this is an added incentive for Jamaicans to become vaccinated, as all the vaccines currently available in the country, which are approved by the World Health Organization, will be accepted by the U.S. government. He said that, quote, "This was only a matter of time as countries around the world continue to implement their recovery plan and formulate their new normal," end quote. Now, in addition to satisfying travel requirements, the ministry continues to encourage Jamaicans to get vaccinated against COVID-19 to help prevent serious illness, hospitalization, and/or death. We go now to tonight's COVID-19 update. Jamaica recorded 49 new cases of COVID-19 and 1 virus-related death yesterday, increasing the total of confirmed cases on the island since the outbreak now to 88,480 and confirmed deaths to 2,184. Now the new cases comprise 34 females and 15 males, ranging in age from 10 months to 89 years. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, 12 of the cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 10 in St. Catherine, 9 in Clarendon, 5 each in St. James and Trelawney, 3 in St. Thomas, 2 each in Manchester and Westmoreland, while 1 case was recorded in Hanover. In the meantime, the latest victim is a 78-year-old male from Manchester. 2 additional deaths were reported as coincidental. The ministry further reported 183 new recoveries, increasing the total of recovered persons now to 56,944. There are 28,751 confirmed active cases of the virus on the island. In other news tonight, a 23-year-old laborer is dead following a shooting incident in downtown Kingston this morning. Reports coming into our news center are that the deceased and his father were ambushed by unknown assailants at approximately 6:50 a.m. on North Street as they both made their way to work. They were rushed to the Kingston Public Hospital KPH, where the now deceased was pronounced dead, while the father remains in hospital. Up to news time, the name of the deceased man was yet to be released. We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. As we continue with the news tonight, the police have charged a member of Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries in St. James with murder. He has been identified as 37-year-old Andre Ruddock. Ruddock was charged yesterday at the Major Investigations Task Force MIT Division in Kingston with 1 count of murder and 1 count of wounding with intent. He is accused of slashing the throat of Appliance Traders Limited employee Tanika Gardner and wounding another congregant 2 Sundays ago during what is believed to be a bizarre ritual involving human sacrifice at the religious organization's building in Albion, Montego Bay. Senior Superintendent of Police SSP Stephanie Lindsay, who heads the Jamaica Constabulary Forces JCF's Corporate Communications Unit CCU, said Ruddock was the other individual in yesterday's ill-fated convoy that transported the now deceased former leader of Pathways International, Kevin Smith. Both men were en route to a question and answer session in Kingston. Police reports coming into our news center tonight are that at approximately 9:30 a.m., one of the vehicles transporting Smith and members of the JCF overturned on the Linstead bypass in St. Catherine. Smith and police constable Orlando Irons of the Montego Bay Fugitive Apprehension Team were confirmed dead upon arrival at the hospital, while 2 other law enforcement officers are still in hospital in serious condition. Smith was to be questioned by detectives as they moved to charge him with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of wounding with intent, and 1 count of illegal possession of firearm. SSP Lindsay said no court hearing date has yet been set for Ruddock. Meanwhile, the Jamaica Constabulary Force has commenced a probe into the circumstances leading to yesterday's accident along Church Road in Linstead, St. Catherine, that claimed the lives of accused cult pastor Kevin Smith and police constable Orlando Irons. And in related news, the Police High Command has expressed sincere condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Police Constable Orlando Irons, who died in the accident involving a police service vehicle in St. Catherine yesterday morning. The force's chaplaincy unit, medical services branch, and welfare department are reportedly providing support to the family members and colleagues of Constable Irons. Continuing with the news tonight, Attorney at Law Valerie Nita Robertson has announced that she will be representing the estate of the late Kevin Smith, former head of the Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries. She revealed that Smith's family intends to hire an independent pathologist to observe his autopsy. The attorney at law also complained about the manner in which the police allegedly infringed upon her client's rights and disregarded his legal representation. Nita Robertson, in a statement, said that Smith had the right to a fair trial if he was in fact charged in light of the social media and mainstream media frenzy that was emanating from the church. The statement was apparently released before Smith died in a car crash in Linstead, St. Catherine, while being transported from Montego Bay, St. James to Kingston, where he was expected to be charged. According to Nita Robertson, her client was interviewed by investigating officers over the weekend. In the meantime, Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, said Smith was being transported to Kingston yesterday because the pastor might not have been able to get a fair trial in Montego Bay. She added that the potential jurors to try the case against him would have been drawn from the same community, so these potential jurors would either have been persons who would have either already been prejudiced against him or for him. The DPP also extended condolences to the families of both Smith and Constable Irons. In news from St. Anne, a man from the parish accused of abducting, drugging, and sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl has been charged with multiple offenses related to the incident. Dale Douglas, a 31-year-old resident of Ocho Rios, has been charged with 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of grievous sexual assault, 1 count of possession of child pornography, and 1 count of administering drugs to a minor. A female who allegedly assisted Douglas in the commission of the crimes is also being sought by the police for questioning. Reports coming into our news center regarding the incident are that a woman contacted the minor on her cellular phone and befriended her. During their conversations, the woman convinced the child to visit a location in St. Anne. The child agreed and went to the location where she was abducted. Over the course of 2 days, the child was allegedly drugged and sexually assaulted by Douglas. At the end of the ordeal, the girl was released and the matter was reported to the police. A probe was subsequently launched, resulting in the eventual arrest of Douglas. The child's cell phone was also found in his possession, along with other crucial evidentiary material. Douglas was pointed out during an identification parade last week and later charged with the offenses. As we continue with the news tonight, the Opposition People's National Party, PNP, says it welcomes remarks by Education Minister Favour Williams that face-to-face engagement for children 0 to 5 years will be possible. The opposition says it believes that reopening infant schools and early childhood centers is a practical approach which provides early stimulation and the necessary socialization for children, as this development has the added benefit of providing reliable childcare options for working parents. Opposition spokesperson on education, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, is pleased that the ministry has outlined rules to govern the proposed reopening. In particular, she welcomes protocols such as mask wearing and proper ventilation aimed at keeping our children safe while providing an opportunity for them to learn. Dr. Brown-Burke is also urging the Ministry of Education to apply a common-sense approach to the discussion around face-to-face schooling, as this is critical to bringing balance between educating our children and protecting the health and well-being of all involved. And that's our news package for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in to Mellow TV Evening News at 8. I am Shelly Ann Hill. Do stay safe and pleasant viewing.